Hi, Jake Williams from Edition InfoSec here. We're getting a lot of questions from some of our clients about the Amazon Alexa issue, and this is something that's come up quite a bit over the last couple of years with a lot of these prolific IoT devices, from Hello Barbie to my best friend Kayla, to some of these home automation systems. How safe are these in both a corporate environment as well as the home? Right? Now, employers, believe it or not, I know a lot of people will kind of argue with this, but employers actually kind of do have maybe some say, or at least some influence, should have some influence, or at least cybersecurity awareness training about what does go into an employee's home when it comes to something that's an always-on device like this. Just like an employer would certainly I would certainly ask to make sure that they have MDM, mobile device management, on your cell phone. Of course, if you have one of these always-on microphones in your home, where you are, particularly if it's in a home office setting, I know a lot of people have these to play music, where you're taking private client calls or calls with the organization. Certainly, then Alexa is listening. Same thing for Google Home, and of course, this is something that you have to be cognizant of because of course that data could be certainly could be listened to by Alexa and shipped off to the cloud. So one of the questions that really comes up is, in light of the Alexa butt dial, should we be concerned? Are there other actions that we need to take now that we maybe weren't aware of or weren't looking at before? This is kind of a really interesting question, and I'll be honest, it really has to do with the threat model. For your average user, this is probably not, your average home user, this is probably not an issue, right? Realistically, again, we're probably not saying anything that's a national secret, or even if it is confidential information, again, it's unlikely to be shipped off due to a bug like we saw with this, again, what folks are calling the butt dial incident with Alexa. That said, if you have a different threat model, again, if your threat model involves nation-state kind of adversaries, then I'd probably be a little more concerned. Right. The reality here is that, like many things, we have a security versus convenience issue, and so we really have to ask ourselves, what's the convenience value that we're getting out of Alexa or a Google Home, and what are the security risks, the security threat? I'm not particularly worried from a threat modeling standpoint about some nation state attacker compromising Alexa and then subsequently pivoting from Amazon's cloud into my network. I'm not particularly concerned with Alexa being turned into an always-on microphone. Again, the majority of folks that would want to, with that, basically that would want to listen always on in a room like that. Again, takes a tremendous amount of manpower just to process that data. The majority of those folks that would want to do that, they have better ways to do that than hacking my Alexa. Right? Furthermore, I have to believe that Amazon has a pretty tight control. Actually, I have it on good authority that Amazon has a pretty tight control over the security of these devices. Right? Now, I know some folks will say, but what about the butt dial? If they have great security, how did that even happen? Again, let's differentiate between a security issue and a bug. The butt dial was simply a bug. Of course, security issues, would be something I would expect to be detected much easier than indeed this. Again, in this case, the case of the butt dial, Alexa took a recording and then sent it because Alexa interpreted that that's what the user actually wanted. Right? Again, we're talking about a feature versus a security issue. Any nation state that develops basically that develops some exploit or some capability, or cyber criminal that develops some capability to listen to an always-on, this kind of always-on microphone, turn it on and be able to exfiltrate data to the cloud. First off, you're going to be exfiltrating a massive amount of data, right? So again, it's going to be pretty obvious for Amazon. Second, you're unlikely to be the only victim of this, and of course, as the number of victims increases, so does the detectability. Right? So as I look at this, I have to say I'm just not that concerned, right? In the whole realm of like crazy stuff that can go wrong. Again, the idea of Alexa being, basically being the thing that does me in, again, just isn't there. Now, if you ask me, do I have an Alexa in my home? The answer is no, I don't. Then again, with the amount that I travel, maybe probably not that useful. And it's not a matter of I don't have Alexa in my home because I'm worried about a security issue. I just don't have it because again, I'm not there enough to make use of it, and I don't know that it's the kind of thing that I make use of. I know people that actually travel with theirs and hook it up to hotel Wi-Fi. They've got a bunch of bunch of stuff worked out for these. Hey, rock on, man. If that piece of the automation is part of your life, I understand. Couldn't live without my smartphone personally. And I'll be honest, that is a much bigger risk to you, particularly for an Android user and you're 6 months to a year to many years out of patch. This, of course, is definitely a larger concern for you than realistically than Alexa causing some kind of issue, right? So I just wanted to kind of clear that up a little bit for some of our clear that up for the larger community. Again, we've been hit with a lot of questions, questions that rendition from our clients, and again, this is I just don't think it's that big of a deal, right? Again, you have to evaluate your own threat model. I certainly can't do that for you, but in examining your threat model, I think you're really going to find out that, or I think you'll really come to the conclusion that this is just not the kind of thing that should be keeping you up at night, right? And if it is, then you should remove your Alexa, right? Because at that point, again, the risk simply isn't worth the lost, the lost sleep. Realistically, even if the risk is very small, if you perceive it to be very large because of what you believe your threat model to be or what your threat model actually is, then again, we would recommend then that you get rid of it. But from a security perspective, I'm just not that concerned. Now, again, I don't know that I'd put one on a corporate network, but as far as a home network, again, I just don't have an issue with that, right? So, again, I just wanted to clear this up. Thanks for your time, and certainly subscribe to see more of this, more content in the future here. Anyway, appreciate your time. Jake Williams for Rendition InfoSec, signing off.